So a few minutes ago, I told you that these charts were built with data sitting in MongoDB. That was true. I implied they were built with the BI connector. That was false. They were actually built with a brand new tool called MongoDB Charts. And it looks like this. It lets you simply and visually build charts in a document-centric view, very simply creating beautiful charts with any stats you want in MongoDB, looking at arrays, handling polymorphism, and very quickly understanding and creating visualizations from your data. And of course, you can then go ahead and create beautiful dashboards right off of that data, share them with your friends, and very quickly understand all the data that's going on and everything you need to do with it. And to show you just how easy it is to build charts with MongoDB, I'd like to invite Dana Groff, our Director of Engineering, for integrations to the stage.
Thank you, Eliot. Today I want to show you something that's in our labs. And I want to show you how easy it is for you to work with your MongoDB data. So, let's just start off here. And I'm going to just show you one of those charts that we just showed you. That fast, that quick. This is real software, really working, really built. I could show it to you on a lot of different ways. We did that, area chart. Well, this data really isn't appropriate for pie charts. Actually, is there any data appropriate for pie charts? OK. But what we really want to get into, what I really want to show you here, is not a fairly simple data set, but complex data. I also want to show you real data. And this data set is clickstream data. I suspect a lot of you have clickstream data. And just like Eliot got into, it's polymorphic. All of our events have a different schema. And in this particular case, this is the metadata, the anonymous metadata. If you actually opted in to Compass's sharing of data with us, this is it. This is the stuff. So let's actually get into it. Now, what I have here is I've got a bunch of schemas, and I want to answer the question, how complex are my user schemas? As a manager building a chart product, I think that would be really interesting to know. So we have this thing called schema depth. Now, what schema depth really is the maximum nestedness of your documents. So there's documents inside documents inside documents. And so this is what we did. And you note that, yes, most people have fairly simple documents. But when it's A.B.C.D, maybe that's not so simple. And we also have a concept of width. This is the number of fields. And sure enough, there's this kind of sweet spot around 20. But we do, of course, have outliers. And I'm hoping that's only a few. So, well, let's look at that. And that's actually great for a scatter plot. And in fact, what we can do is look at depth versus width. And and now we have a scatter plot that really is showing us where all of our outliers are and where what is pretty sweet. So what's our depth? By the way, this is real data. This is real software. So when I look at that and I say, that wasn't depth versus width. This is depth versus width. And this is the size. There we go. And so now we can actually see what I wanted to show you, which is one or two levels deep. That is where our sweet spot is, maybe 3. And yes, we have some outliers. And of course, there is some justification of depth versus width, but not a lot. OK. That's not all we have to show you. But I want to show you with another data set. Now, this is the data set we have about all of those GUIDs that we call users. Very anonymous. I want to actually dig into the users that I can identify come from Chicago. And yeah, so how many are in this data set? not quite 200. It's about 176 records. We can get some information about users of Compass in Chicago. What type of machines are they using? Can I do a lot of parallelism? And not unexpectedly, we actually see 4 to 8 cores is fairly common. What about memory? Can I cache a lot of things? This becomes an interesting thing. And I'm going to quickly jump over to another way of showing you this information. It's a heat map, right? And sure enough, 16 gigs, 8 cores seems to be that sweet spot. And if you're building software, this is a great thing to know about your users. I think it's common knowledge, but let's build software with data, not with gut instinct. But this isn't just what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you working with arrays. And we divide our users into various different customer segments. And which is to say, and we save those segments in arrays. So that is the segment array right here. And just very simply, I'm going to pull it right out here. And what does it do? It asks me how I want to work with that array. I can work with it. I can unwind it. I can start working with its length. I can work, maybe by a specific index. Just that simple. I actually just want to unwind it. And there we go. And now we have information about our user segments. And in fact, an interesting thing to note about the users in Chicago is that there are more Mac users than Windows users. Insight, ease of use, and directly against MongoDB data, natively working with rich documents. I can see and understand my data very easily. I can talk about this for hours, and so we'll be downstairs. There's a bunch of booths set up. Come and talk to us, and I can show you a lot more charts. Thank you very much, Eliot.